Penny, you're muted, but you're. It looks
So
like
I'm
you're
just
in
gonna
a
listen.
plane. No.
No, I'm in the car with the
Okay.
dog,
Okay.
waiting for my parents.
Okay.
Yeah, they just landed, so I'm gonna
Great.
go pick them up, but I'll be listening in.
No worries. Thank you.
Okay.
Jennifer, just so you know, you're muted.
Can hear you guys, and usually
Oh,
I
now
guess
you're
that
good.
makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Right. Okay. You're
This
back on.
meeting. So Ade's coming in. Hi, Curtis. Yeah, good to see you. So I'm going to keep calling people. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, I think they're just, we need to get it.
Okay.
Yeah. How many? We're supposed to have. Forgotten how many. 5 for and Henriette's still here, so that's 4. And Ade's coming. That'll be 5.
Yeah, there are 9 official members, so if we can get more than half.
Yeah, I'm gonna call a couple more
in
people.
In lieu of that, I think we can make informal decisions.
Yeah.
And the decisions that we're making are not policy motion stuff for the most part, and they'll get reviewed by the full board anyway. So,
as you know. Okay, I'll mute myself and try a couple more people, and go ahead and talk. You know, I might go.
Okay,
I might go on in another room so I can talk. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll call the meeting to order. Thank you for those of you who are joining us. That would be you, Curtis. Henny is at the airport picking up her parents. Her flight was delayed, so she's just stuck there. But we'll pop in as she can. And want to thank Henny for also extending us her Zoom account so that we could host the meeting. And that's an agenda item later on. Eli sends his regrets. There is a chapter meeting for LACBC tonight, along with the Bike Ambassador Program. This is one of their first outreaches, and so it's kind of in direct conflict. I attended a few minutes of that, but we'll proceed forward. Ade, thank you for joining us. Glad to see you. Oh.
Yeah.
Great. We're just getting started, so thank you. Curtis, do you want to be an official committee member, or are you still sitting on the fence?
You know, I attend each meeting, but you know, I'm still sort of freelancing.
Okay, all right. Duly noted then. Jennifer. In terms of announcements, I just want to let a few things. It is, for those of you who looked at the agenda before, May is National Bike Month. And I did provide some links to National Bike Month resources. And then this past weekend, there were a couple of things going on. One was the Finish the Ride that Safe Streets Are for Everyone promotes. Damien Cavett is the executive director of that organization, and the 50-mile ride was done in honor of Andrew J-Mart, who was killed April 16th, actually very close to the spot where Damien was hit and lost his lower right leg. And then today there was a rainbow halo installation, which is what the city is starting to do with the city council support for Prinus Brazel, who was killed on her bike. And that was done at 10 a.m. this morning at Pacific and Rose. And in the minutes, I was in attendance, and so I have some photos of that. So if you've never seen one of the rainbow halo installations, They're quite nice. It doesn't indicate the victim, but does just indicate generically that, somebody passed, and it's a nice small art installation. And then later this month is Hands Across the Sand by Surfrider. It's a tour from Westwood Greenway to Santa Monica with a beach cleanup and lunch. So stay tuned and keep your eye open for that. Hi, Philip. Thanks for joining us. Let me just do a once around for news or announcements that people might have as it relates to cycling in the city, or maybe more directly advocacy and education. Curtis, anything you want to share?
No.
Ade, anything you'd like to share?
No, I'm glad you shared the thing that happened in West Adams, though. Yolanda, a friend of mine, was part of that, and I saw some of it online.
Oh,
Thanks.
great. Yeah, she was streaming it while we were there. Terrific. Philip, anything that you want to add around news or announcements or public comment for things not on the agenda?
No, thank you.
Okay. Hi, John. Thanks for joining us. Any news, comments, or things that you want to put out there for the good of the order? Hearing none. And Henny, I'll just check in with you briefly. Anything that you wanted to add?
No, I just found out that I was hoping to get an update from Eli that the river ride will not return again this year. So kind of sad to hear about that. I know it's in June, but it definitely leads up from Bike Month into June. But other than that, I don't have any other updates.
There's they're talking about a Bike LA hub ride, which I'm not quite sure what that is. Oh, guess there's a central hub and people would go off into different directions, but I guess we'll find out more. They were floating the idea at this simultaneous meeting that's happened on another part of Zoom. Jennifer, anything that you want to share in terms of news announcements or public comment?
Well, we had a wonderful ride on Sunday on the 626. I missed
Oh, good.
I missed the Griffith Park ride, but we did a really wonderful ride mission to mission.
Yeah. And
it was packed full of people. It reminded me of a ciclovia. It was so awesome. They were testing out e-bikes, and they had all kinds of people there, rollerbladers, people, all ages, all walkers, riders. And I have a new e-bike, so I used my e-bike, and that was exciting. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm getting back into it after COVID. It's really been it's been a long time since we've had these kind of big events. And Ade, we're gonna do something over there too, right? He might be gone. Oops.
Yeah.
Over there,
I'm working
where
on
is
something actually in Leimert Park, from my shop to West Adams.
Oh, good.
So I'm working on something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know when?
It'll be this month. If
Okay.
all things go well. Tafari and I from Ciclavia are talking about putting it together, and also Yolanda over at West Adams.
Great, I'll be there.
Great. Ade, what's the name of your shop?
It's called Ride.
The shop is Right On Bike Shop.
Oh, okay.
He has a big major Taylor. It's still there, right? The big, it's kind of a mural or kind of a banner.
Oh,
right?
wonderful.
Yeah. The major, do they meet there at your shop, Ade? The major Taylor riders?
They used to, they've met every once in a while, but they've actually changed locations.
Oh.
They changed leadership, and the leadership, I guess, lives in a different part of the city, and so they started meeting up someplace else.
Cool, yeah.
Are you, I'm just looking it up on Yelp. Are you on Degnan?
Yes, correct.
Great, okay, Good to know. Thanks.
It's a great area. Oh my gosh, there's so much
Sure.
good food. Oh, it's just, I went to a fashion show there the last time I was there. It was gorgeous. Oh, food, fashion, bikes.
Well,
Yeah, there's a lot happening over here.
I'd love for us to update the LABAC Bicycle Resource Guide to reflect South LA, Leimert Park, those areas. It's mostly been the things that I know in West LA, so would love to diversify that a little bit and capture some of the important resources that you may be aware of that I'd love to add. So we'll talk offline, but glad to have you
Okay.
join us tonight.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
As an aside, what are the bike lanes like? Are they class 1? What are they like in Leimert Park?
Class 1's where there are any.
Yeah.
And we're
Okay.
trying to move to get it better. Interesting, Karen Bass is running for mayor
Mhm.
Oh,
and had a fundraiser, and I was at the fundraiser, right? And so I got a chance to talk to her, and I, mentioned that I on the bike shop. She was like, "Oh, great, I ride my bike, but only at the beach because the streets aren't safe.
oh dear.
Let's do something
Oh,
about
dear.
that." So I'm in her ear about it.
Good.
Boy, she
It's
walked
like-
into that one.
It's like-
Ooh, now we know.
Yeah, she did.
Oh
Yeah, she
my.
did. So I'm planning on pressing on that one because it's
Yeah.
like, if that's how you feel about it, imagine the people that don't have the luxury of going to the beach to ride their bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even,
That's good.
to take their bike over to the beach. I mean, they're just riding around town.
Right.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, people have to go from point A to point B, and the beach isn't anywhere in that. They're trying to get to work and from work.
Yeah, that's
So-
exactly right. Yeah. That's the way it is over here too at MacArthur Park. And I'm trying to get them to put more bike
Yeah.
lanes over here. So we're in the same boat.
All right, let me
Yeah, so I'm glad
just,
she said that. So opportunity to press for it when she, whatever happens.
Yeah,
But-
she'll have influence somewhere. Yeah, if she doesn't make it. Yeah.
I'm sure Streets for All will also do a mayoral endorsement and get people to make
Commit.
pronouncements about, as the mayoral candidates. So looking forward to that.
Right.
Good. Andrew, I'm just going to check back to see if you're able to speak and have anything that you wanted to share with us.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
great.
Great. Hey, everyone. Don't have anything to share or update necessarily, but just glad to be here for the next 15 minutes or so. Yeah, I know. I got I subscribed to a bunch of agendas and commissions that interested me, and this one definitely did. And then I thought it was a typo or error that this was at 7 o'clock for a city committee meeting. I'm like, it's got to be at 2, and I typed it wrong in my calendar, but it was at 7. So
Yeah.
I got 30 minutes, but I'm glad that you all are meeting. And speaking of Streets for All, I think their ballot measure or they got the signatures for it, I think.
They
No.
did.
No.
Or no,
No.
maybe that's Healthy LA. One of them did. It was either
That was-
the high housing property tax, or it was the streets one. I forgot.
I'd be shocked if Healthy Streets gets it. I mean, it's been a rough struggle for Healthy Streets, but they did shift to paid signature gatherers, but we'll see soon.
I hope they get it.
I
Yeah.
heard they got 30,000 last week. I was at a,
That's halfway there, though. They got to get
yeah,
the
that's
next.
pretty amazing. And they have
35.
it till the end. Huh?
They have to get another 35,000.
But they did it in a month. So, and it's the end of May. So it's just the beginning of May right now. So if they have paid people, they might do it.
That'd be great.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. I
Keep
heard
hope
that.
alive.
Yeah, that's all we could do until the end
Yeah,
of May. June, well, okay, well,
Yeah,
that's
well,
that.
and I think they're still working to see if they can get current city council members to just adopt it as ordinance. And so that would avoid the whole ballot process, but we'll see.
Oh, how does that work, Rob? I don't really understand that.
8 city council members say this will be law.
Really?
Yeah.
So we,
So they're, Michael and staff are working all angles. So we'll see what happens.
well, Ade, what do you think about, well, I think if it's CD4 would be probably for it, right, Curtis?
Absolutely.
So Ade, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe you could talk to Price. He's not real strong, but he's got bike lanes in his area.
Yeah, he's got a couple. What was the question though? I missed it.
Healthy Streets LA ballot initiative. Trying to get, if a majority of city council signs off on it, it doesn't have to even, it can either be put on the ballot or it can become law.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's
How
incredible.
many do we have so far? Do we know?
I
think
heard
I think they're keeping that close to the chest, but
yeah, somebody I went to the bike salon that Eli had last week, and the guy who's running it for Michael wasn't there. The guy who's running it said they had 35,000 or 30 something thousand. That was
Good.
last week.
Good. All right.
So
Fortunately, here in CD5, I don't think Koretz would quite jump on board.
No.
No,
Paul. Koretz.
but he might. He's leaving. You never know. I
Yeah,
mean, if
he's running for city controller.
He's still running for office.
who? Koretz?
Yeah.
He's
Controller.
running for controller?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I missed that one. Oh, wow. I better, okay, we're being recorded.
All right. So no updates from LADOT. And we'll get to a further agenda item about time and place for this meeting to see if we want to continue meeting in the evening or shift to a daytime when we could get LADOT staff participation. I did send out the minutes from the last subcommittee. Anyone want to make a motion to accept them?
I'm happy to,
Great, thank you.
as an alternate that I am.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll second
Today-
that motion too.
You're the
Great,
voter.
great.
Yeah.
Any discussion or changes that people want to make? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting them as presented, please raise your hand. Great, thank you. Motion passes.
Philip,
Thank you all.
Yeah, I guess we're good. Philip. Andrew, are you from the city?
No,
I'm ignorant.
the North Westwood Neighborhood Council,
Oh, neighborhood council, great. Oh, that's awesome.
involved in
Sorry.
everything.
I try. I'm humbled that my name precedes me though, Rob.
So are you, which council district are you in?
CD5. I'm in Westwood Village,
So Paul
Okay.
Koretz.
So
It-
we're
it-
covered.
AKA land of no bike lanes,
Yeah.
or at least on Westwood Boulevard.
I found some on Westwood near UCLA. I rode up there a few weeks ago. Weren't there
They're
some up
very,
there?
very,
But not one on Westwood Boulevard itself that would connect Expo line
Yeah.
to this university.
yeah, and the paths you found are very, very thin. They're pretty scary.
Yeah.
There was one that lasted 2 days that somebody painted, a guerrilla act about 5 years ago. You could tell it was guerrilla because it was sketchy as hell, and the city made it go away pretty quick.
The good thing is though, I'm sorry this is off topic, but we have gotten commitments from the folks running for CD5, Katie Urslowski and Sam Yebri, that they are in favor of a bike lane protected on Westwood Boulevard. So we may have the beginning of that, hopefully in a couple months by November.
And you have Scott Epstein too.
And Scott and Jimmy, yes, and they're de facto. They're without saying they're
Oh, good. I was gonna say, whoa, where's Scott?
Yeah, no, he's
Not that I'm voting, for anybody. Yeah.
cool. So I don't have any news from LADOT. The LABAC Bicycle Resource Guide and LABAC Manual are just kind of standing items as people use them, discover them, and make changes. I want to just have it as a standing item so that we can talk and update it. I've not made any changes in the last month, so unless people have feedback. And Curtis, did you do some work with somebody at the last meeting sent me some revisions that they made?
Oh, I did some work on one of the letters that was going out. Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
Thank you, Curtis. I saw them.
I
Yeah.
do, in terms of general education outreach materials. Jennifer, do you want to talk a little bit about the Facebook page?
Sure. I go on it every day and I post between 1 and 5 things a day. Sometimes, some days I don't see anything, so I don't post, but I post between, I post locally, regionally, statewide, all across the country, and then I go international. I do everything I can find. Yeah. Everything, and people, have been responding or at least clicking, and reading, and some people say they really like it, and it's all bicycle related, or it has to do with even people traveling, long distances on bikes, people like Major Taylor, I do them a lot. I see their rides, I post rides, and it's just, I
That's
do
great.
it. Yeah, I just keep doing it.
Who else has access to as an editor?
I don't know. That would be a Henny question, or that would be a Carino question, I think.
It's myself, Glenn, I think Kent has access. So there's only 5 of us.
Kent doesn't want to do it. I know that.
Okay.
He sends them to me. I mean, if you send me anything, I'll post it,
Okay.
That seems to be the quickest way, but if you want to get access, I think Henny has that ability. I don't have it.
Yes, I can provide access
Great.
to anybody that needs it. So, yeah.
Henny, can you, I think as a matter of course, can we add Eli to that? And then I'd love to have access just as a co-chair of a subcommittee.
And Carino was adding, I saw his name up there. I
Okay.
think I saw Henriette's name too. I'm not sure.
Yep.
I mean, random names.
Great.
I think anybody who wants to should be allowed to, but everybody didn't like that idea. And I thought, well, everybody sees different things,
Well, let's move into new business, which really we sort of already did. It's a discussion and possible motions around outreach tools, including purchase of a Zoom account for LABAC use, email, social media, and web services. So let's just open that up a little bit about our social media and outreach tools generically. Thank you for kicking it off, Jennifer, about Facebook. I know the young kids, cool kids, are all about Instagram. And I don't know that we have an Instagram account.
We do.
We
Yeah,
do.
Henriette.
Yes, we do have an Instagram account. And at the moment, I'm kind of the only person resharing and doing all that stuff.
Okay. I'm horrible at Instagram. I don't do it, but I think as we, at our next meeting, at our general meeting, just put a little call out there of recruiting people for that would be great.
Great. Yeah, if I can just get a name of everybody and their Instagram handles, we can definitely just figure that out.
Great. And Andrew says a thumbs up on the Instagram post. So I finally got around to looking at Facebook and was amazed at what Jennifer had been doing. So clearly I need to now move on to Instagram.
Well, it's a really huge, I don't know where I get all the information. It's just, I've been doing it for so many years that I get tons every day.
That's great.
And so I just pick them and post them. I used
That's
to
good.
work in media, so I'm used to that kind of thinking too, but
Good, good. Henny, were there costs associated with the Zoom account, or is this you're sharing from a different, or did you purchase it intentionally for?
I'm actually just paying for the Zoom account at the moment. And as I explained to Jennifer, I'm happy to do it. But if Eli is able to get us a free, if the city could pay for it, that would be fantastic.
Okay.
But at the moment, I'll be paying sorry to throw the numbers out, guys, $16 a month. I'm happy to pay for it for a year. I can definitely write it off, but would prefer not to.
Great.
Yeah,
Well, so, I mean, that's great. To I think to the extent that we try to be self-supporting and look, so that's not coming out of individual committee members, I think that's the way to go. Um, and I don't know, are there costs associated with the email address stuff?
At the moment, no, because it's just a Gmail and we don't have a address to follow. So it's not like at labycommittee.org. It's mostly at Gmail.
Okay.
But yes, we did create the LABAC committee at Gmail.
Okay.
So I would like to discuss just getting everybody on that. So, you know, Eli can use that to kind of message everybody out. I think he had a plan first, so I just want to make sure that that is something we can do.
Great. Do you feel like we should look at a website, an labac.org website, or is it just
we have one.
another headache?
We
We
have
have
one.
the labycommittee.org website, but like a domain for the email, I don't think it's necessary. I think we can function with Gmail and it's definitely manageable. Yeah, I can definitely add everybody in. It'll just take a bit of time. And I think you saw that process, Rob, when you were adding the names.
Did
So
you see,
that-
did you get mine, Henriette? I
did.
answered. Okay.
I did get it.
Okay.
Is it LABAC.committee or LABAC committee?
labac.committee
Yeah,
at
okay.
gmail.com.
Okay.
Curtis?
Yeah, do you want to talk about the website issue now, or?
Yeah. Yep.
So yes, there is a website, but it's unattended. I mean, it's got to be a headache for anybody who's currently in charge of it. It's a big project to modernize it and bring it up to date. A pile of money needs to be spent toward it if we're going to be in a position to really outreach to the community and be a serious resource. I know I've brought it up before. How do we move through that if everybody agrees that it's a good idea? I mean, my opinion is if the BAC is going to do what it's supposed to do, which is not only to advocate for bike paths and safety, but also be a resource for the community. These days, a good website is essential.
Well, Henriette right now is running it. Carino was running it, and he ran it for a couple of years. And I don't know where he is right now.
Yeah,
So we need a new person.
Well, it's not just needing a new person. It's a project.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a real project. And I know at one meeting we had talked about trying to contact people, maybe at Santa Monica City College or LA City College, their departments, to see if we could get someone to volunteer. It's kind of a school project. I don't know that that's even remotely possible, but whoever was on the call, or the whomevers were on the call, we're going to see if they could identify an organization that might be willing to work with us within the confines of what the city could pay or not pay. And
I think I'm happy to put it on a kind of a middle range kind of goal for us to take a look at. I think Eli, as the new chair, is brand new, and so I think giving him a couple months to establish and help give him some space to figure out how to move us forward. And then I think we're also about to, with the elections of city council members, there will be changes to this committee as well. So
No, there probably won't. They don't normally change anybody. They really don't.
Okay.
Unless you want to change,
Okay. So that's not typical.
No.
Yeah, I would think the website is the same issue of changes in the committee. We're just under the radar right now.
Yeah.
I've only been here for 6 months, and we're under the radar. And
yeah, we are.
And if we're going to serve any real social and whatever purpose in the city, we need to get above that. And I appreciate putting it on on a medium kind of hot list. But if we're going to move this forward in any way that's socially appropriate, I think it needs to be elevated. I know Eli needs time to get his legs, and
I don't know that I'm on a couple of organizations and people are webmasters like, listen, Facebook, web pages are not that dynamic. They're really kind of steady Eddie. It's really about your e-blast, your Facebook, your Instagram accounts that are much where people go to. And I think all of those things need developing as well. So
Yeah, no, I agree as well, but those are message services. We need a, like all that work that you put in, Rob, about identifying things that are bike related throughout the city. There needs to be some place that will share that magic so that people know that they can just go and look. I mean, my fiance and I ride our bikes pretty much every weekend at night, and we're looking around the city for bike paths that are safe. And then we go to a restaurant or a bar. So it's our date out basically. But finding bike paths that are suitable, there is no location that I can find that provides enough information to make me feel certain that the information is reliable.
Well, I mean, there might not be anything.
Not
You
that
know,
I found. I've got
Yeah,
on,
I mean,
I call bike shops in the area where we're going to go. I look on the web, and it's very hard to find. And to me, the messaging is essential, but also having a location where people like me and others can just go to every weekend if they choose to, and find some place safe to ride. To me, that will create some dynamism in the city.
Yeah. Philip, you've got your hand up.
Yes, in terms of resources, like you're talking about finding bike lanes, it seems like the more basic thing would be, if I could go on my phone or whatever, and I want to go from point A to point B, and it would tell me suitable ways to go. But the times I've tried to do that, it would tell me like go up, like this really steep hill, which I could avoid by going 2 blocks further down. It doesn't seem to be like the same kind of support for people who want to get it. And this is my, I could be years out of date, but my experience is that there isn't that kind of support for bicyclists that there is for cars and, public transportation.
I think I agree with all of the comments that are said. And it makes me wonder, we're just do-gooder citizens doing what we can in the after hours and on the interweb, right? And we don't have LADOT at the table with us. And I wonder if we should look at shifting maybe half of our committee meetings to a daytime so that LADOT is present with us, because they're the city partner. And so having them hear some of our frustrations or wishes or goals really puts them under, some pressure to respond and to hear it. Because God forbid, they're super busy, I'm sure. And so they're not they may look at our minutes. They may, but they're never going to listen to the Zoom recording. And if it's an evening, it's just easy to dismiss. So thoughts about shifting, I think there is something about evening times that allow citizens to participate, those who are working to participate. But
Rob, I think it's a great idea. It's a great idea. If worst, would try it and see how it goes. I think it's tremendous.
So split half of our meetings daytime and half evening, just to maintain some balance, to see how that goes.
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do want to say that, yes, I could definitely see us doing half in the daytime and half in the evening. But I will also have to say that, like, LADOT, that is part of their job, is to show up these meetings.
Yeah.
We have neighborhood council meetings that are held after 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And, they have officials and officers that show up to that. So I don't see how this would be any different. So this is obviously a more convenient time for those that are working.
Yeah,
but yes, I am open to both.
Well, so if we shift to a daytime and they attend during that, and then we can guilt them into the evening as well. So just to change this pattern. Okay.
Well,
Um,
Ade, you work all day, right? He's gone. And Henriette, you work all day
Yes.
too. Yeah, so, you know, and so does Curtis, that you guys.
I do
and-
too.
Yeah. So
But, you know, but if we're told well enough in advance,
you'll do
and
it.
the meetings are very specific and focused.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have the 2-hour meeting, but if it's 45 minutes, let's do it.
I would say though that I did bring up that I know we're still in a pandemic, but the option to go back into person is something that I wanted to just bring up because
Yeah.
I think that's something that would also help us coordinate and, be a little bit more productive to actually have some FaceTime with each other. And Zoom has been super convenient for everybody. So Zoom would still be convenient if we had those afternoon, daytime meetings. But if we had if we didn't have Zoom and we were meeting in person in the afternoon, that would be a big inconvenience to go to downtown
Yeah.
during that time.
Yeah,
that's
no
what
way,
we-
no way am I
we-
even thinking about in person only. I mean, I think that's a non-starter, I think. It would have to be a hybrid model.
Yeah. Well, we used to go, I know the bikeway and planning used to go to LADOT at 100 First and Main Street. I don't know if you've been to their offices.
Mhm.
We went there for years. And we didn't have an advocacy and education subcommittee. So when I was when I started on the LABAC, there was no advocacy and education subcommittee. We tried to start it many times. And Henriette, you remember when we all met up in Van Nuys with Carino to do the website, and we just went off site. We went to a bar. We had a good time. And
We had beers, exactly.
We had a good time.
Exciting.
we got done.
Yeah.
We got it all done. We got a website started, which we didn't have before. And Instagram got started and I got on the Facebook. They put me on Facebook right away. This other guy gave it up. He had a website. What was his name? I forgot his name now.
David
David.
David Wolfbarger.
Yeah, his father was in the city for years.
Mm.
So he was hiding behind his jacket, And
Well, so I'd be happy to host something at my house. I've got a good social gathering spot.
Oh.
And I have beer on tap.
Henriette, you live near there, and Ade,
Oh.
you live near there, right?
So
So I'd have to take the expo over there, but I wouldn't mind. Yeah.
I'm just off the Venice 33 line, and there's a
Okay.
bike share station, a half a block away. So
Nice.
I'll pitch that to Eli.
Yeah.
It could be a Sunday afternoon. It could be weekday evening, whatever people want. But have something as just a hey, let's celebrate, let's get together, let's talk a little bit of business.
No business actually.
No
because I think-
business.
right. We're not supposed to discuss business that is not during a meeting. So, right,
Brown Act.
Jennifer?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
there you go.
Well.
Well,
and I
actually,
will-
it may be worthwhile to agendize with business and then a social hour afterwards.
We had, what was that called, Henriette? We had, when you first came in, we had that big meeting with everybody. And it
The
was
retreat.
The
the
retreat.
retreat.
We need
Kind
a
of a
retreat.
goal setting, kind of an expectation kind of thing. Yeah.
We need a retreat. And yeah, that would be great to do it at your house, maybe.
It'd be in my backyard patio area, so it'd be all outside. And I have heaters and fans, and it should work out okay.
Could all of us go?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole committee, like. the
Yeah, I
whole-
had a wedding in my backyard a couple
Oh,
of months
good.
or so ago.
Okay.
About 50
Yeah,
people.
I would like to motion that, we bring this up to the board and just try to arrange and organize a retreat then.
Yeah, let's do a retreat.
Great. And we can agendize. I think we can do an agenda so that it's Brown Act compliant. I've done them with neighborhood councils.
Yay,
It's
Karen.
doable.
Good.
Great. Okay. anything else around?
Rob, before we lose that thread, are
Yeah.
you going to look into brief meetings during, every other meeting sort of thing, so we can
Yeah.
try to accommodate DOT members who should be here anyway?
Correct. So there are a couple of things that we've talked about. Hi, Karen. Well, I'm going to
Sorry,
recap
Mark.
some of the things that we've just recently talked about. We're going to try shifting to a daytime meeting every other advocacy and education meeting to see if we can't pull LADOT back into the fold so that we have a more ongoing collaborative idea exchange. And there's also interest in doing a committee retreat where we meet each other, get to know each other a little bit more over Zoom, talk a little bit of business, but also talk about our aspirations, our goals, and our frustrations. There have been ongoing, our social media, our website, our communication. How do we be of more service to our residents? Curtis and others talked a little bit about trying to bike around unfamiliar parts of the city and what are the resources out there? How do we help support underrepresented communities, all that kind of stuff.
Ade
So-
has his hand up.
Yes, Ade.
Yeah, so I was wondering who at LADOT we've reached out to that we're in contact with.
Yep. So it's now Tam Nguyen and Charlie Ho, who are our principal contacts for LABAC.
Okay, so I know
Shamice and others have
I know
moved on.
Wajenda's there, and I know he works with bike stuff a lot. He was at the last thing that we did, a bike ride we did for in West
West Adams.
Adams, and I know him pretty well, so I can see if he's willing and what would work for him.
See, you're in the shop. Your shifter derailleur prices are in the
Yeah,
That's his shop.
background. Yeah.
yeah.
But he's not with LADOT. He's with the Bureau. No, wait, he's with what's it called?
No, isn't he with?
Special, what do
I
they call?
He thought he said he was DOT.
Yeah, I think he's at DOT now. He was with
Mm.
Great Streets before. He's at DOT now.
Well, I mean, I think if we go to a daytime, I want to reach out to Metro as well in
Mhm.
terms of their best program, their bicycle education, safety training stuff. I mean, they're big pockets and they're doing some really good training. So to pull all of those people in, I think is a little easier when it's during work hours.
Okay. Yeah. Lena that works out with me at the shop, she does the classes for best. She does
Yeah.
some classes for him. Yeah. So
That's great. Great.
He's external affairs. That's what he is. He's LADOT external affairs.
oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's different from the active transportation people. Those
Okay.
guys, they're assigned to us. He's not
Ah.
assigned to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he's
But-
an ally, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he could help us if you can convince him. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
We need to find someone who has access to information that we don't normally get and access to resources that we don't get. Because if we're going to try to build something bigger, we need support.
Mhm.
Right.
I know.
By the-
Oh, go ahead, Karen.
Oh, you brought up resources and support, and recently Eli and I had a call with the mayor's office with
Oh.
Dan Rodman, and
Oh, that was after the letter. Karen, is that after the letter you said?
yeah. So it was a really productive. We spoke for like an hour and 15 minutes. But at the end, I did bring up, we're a bunch of volunteers. We're trying to pay for the website and Zoom meetings, and he's going to try to find. He seemed very optimistic that he could find some way to give us some funding support for these things.
Funding. Ooh.
Yeah,
That's
like a
great.
couple $1,000s as an operating budget seemed, if we
Yeah,
get,
I think if we were to ask for that, we'd want to give him because I just mentioned we need a Zoom account and we need website support, but I didn't know what kind of dollars we were talking about. So probably if we could give him some
Yeah.
kind of list of what we're looking for,
sure, a
he might
budget.
be able to turn something around for us.
Yeah,
I not exactly sure how that works, but it sounded like if if we let him know what we need, he'd try to find a way.
Okay, well, it's not,
that-
we need
with that-
something with more zeros at the end of it, because if we're gonna build something, it takes resources.
Right. With that said, couldn't we each from each council office hit up the council office and see what kind of funds they have?
Yeah,
I
go
know
ahead.
I could probably get money from Mike, but I don't think Corette's CD5 will
That's a good idea,
sell
though.
out, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think we work the mayor's office and we work our city council members, right? And if 4 contribute and others don't respond or say no,
Doesn't matter.
it'll get around. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, what? You're not, you know, and so when the continued cyclists die in their council district, what do you mean you can't afford $200 for a bicycle advisory committee or $500 for a bicycle advisory committee, right? To try to affect positive change. So I think that's a good ask. I mean, I think what we've talked a little bit about as the agenda is subcommittee participation, expectation, and representation. And so, you know, part of it is what's our relationship with our city council person and can they do some funding? I think we need to be wise about how we ask for it and legitimize it and articulate where that money is going to be spent. But
Is there anybody on this committee that is sophisticated enough, and I'm not, to know how to put together a budget that, I mean, I'm happy to send it to my contact at CD4, but you're right, he's going to want to see something that has some meat to it. Is there anybody that, or tofu to it, depending on how you feel about things? Is there anybody on the committee that knows
I
how
think
to put something together?
Eli, or even Ade, maybe. Ade has an account. What kind of account do you have? We were talking about it up in Oakland.
What kind of a my
Zoom.
Zoom account? Yeah, I have an account. I pay like $15 a month or
Yeah.
something like that, so I can. have-
Okay, so it's a professional one.
Yeah.
That's what yeah, okay.
But
Oh,
you know,
I
I
have one like that too, but it limits how many people, it has certain restrictions, right?
yeah.
Yeah, we're
I mean,
trying to get it, we're an enterprise. It's called business enterprise level. And I talked to Eli. Eli's the one who can get us what you're talking about, Curtis. He can get us some budgetary, statistics. He
I
can
mean,
get it.
I would make this part of the retreat agenda
Yeah.
of what
okay.
are our goals and what is and what is it going to cost us to get there? You know,
Okay.
resources, time, and energy, and money. And so through the process of evaluating what do we want to do in the next year, then we can, you know, articulate as a group priorities. So that's huge. I would also add, I think maybe at this retreat, we spend some time talking about the diversity, equity, diversity, and inclusion in the cycling community and be intentional and out about that, about how we try to represent those that aren't at the table in more thoughtful and deliberate ways. I don't have solutions now, but I think involving more people can only make that better. I know through Instagram and there's a local biker wave shop and I've connected with some of the younger volunteers and discovered a whole variety of races and cycling riding clubs that I never knew were out there, just by kind of connecting and putting it out there. So I think we could all do that a little bit more.
Yeah, we used to. With LACBC, we went on tons of different rides all over the county because they're county. And we were lucky we got Eli because he's associated with the county now and the mayor, you know, and so is Karen. So that's.
So there are some really active cycling groups. You know, there's the Psycho Oval Women in East LA,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And Mixed Race and Trash Pandas and
Oh,
all these, you know, groups that I don't know that any of us are members of those groups, right?
Eastside Riders, you know them?
I
Yeah,
follow
yeah.
a bunch of them on Instagram. I think it's good too to respect that they each kind of have a different focus or following.
Absolutely.
But I also think of people who use their bike to get to work, and they're probably working long hours or multiple jobs, and they're just never going to be at meetings like this.
Yeah.
But to always be mindful of people who rely on bikes for critical transportation.
Mhm.
And I worry that there needs to be more messaging about the fact that this is a critical way people get around the city. This isn't just about, mammals and spandex,
Yeah.
a club ride,
There's I walk my dog about 7:30, and there's this guy who has like this crappy mountain bike who clearly is going to work, in kind of dress, not, work clothes, but his tires are always underinflated. And I just want to carry a bike pump and stop him and fill his tires up. Just, how do we be of service to people what they do, the hidden majority of cyclists? And so, to do some pop-up bike repair stands, wouldn't that be cool for the city bike advisory committee to sponsor?
Well, LACBC does something like that with lights, the Operation Firefly, and it could be. I think they need money. They get grants for that. So,
but to do a pop-up bike repair stands, and one in every city council district, that the city council helps pay for, and we hire a mechanic for a couple of hours.
Yeah, we hire Ade.
And we start looking.
Are you a renter, Ade? Yeah.
And is our material in Spanish or any other language?
Philip
has a hand up.
Right, no, that's great.
Philip,
He's
go
got
for
a
it.
face too. He's got a funky face. Let's.
I didn't know how to get rid of that. I did it that bad. But the LADOT, Tim Nguyen, is doing these 2 bike corrals per
City council.
Right, and so and the difference between those and the ones before is that these LADOT is going to maintain, and they're going to be like responsible for the upkeep and so forth. And so maybe we could do bike repair or whatever, support services in conjunction with those
bike corrals. Sure.
Good idea.
Get those little service stations, how you sometimes see along a bike trail where it's a pump and basic tools attached to some kind of structure.
I got one for my local YMCA. LADOT found one. They were ready to put it in, and then suddenly all of the homeless bike activity was of concern. And so they were afraid of putting in a bike repair stand outside of the Y because it would attract homeless folks who would be working on their bikes. And it was just like this clash of good intentions and unintended consequences. But I think the idea of using the bike corrals and celebrating on a regular basis of going there. I also love the idea of public bike repair stations as well. I know there's resistance in the community about expanding that and how they could be taken over.
Yeah, that's true though. It's the truth.
But the idea of once a month going to a bike corral and for a couple of hours, and people can know the first Monday of the month, this bike corral will have a mechanic with parts, well, not parts, but tools to be able to work on your bike, and then refer them to the local bike shop just down the road for the parts that they may need.
Yeah,
that's great.
I think you should put that. I agree with that totally.
Nice connecting of kind of the synergies that the city is utilizing. We've put a lot out there. I don't want to drag this out. We've talked a lot about expectations.
Just left.
Yeah, I'm sure she has to pick up she made me host, so we're good.
Okay.
Glenn did talk a little bit about city council motions related to cycling, and I did go several months ago, look at all of those and to see if there was any current around advocacy and education. I didn't circle back in the last 4 weeks to do that again, but there didn't appear to be. But I think for us to stay on top of for both of the subcommittees is vital and important. And maybe LADOT could also help us track and know where some of those are. But I'll reach out to Glenn to ask him how he generated that list and how we might refresh it.
Yeah, he's still a member. He signs
Yeah, yeah.
himself as a member. So he might be able to take that part over. That might be enough for him to do, you know.
I would like to in the future meetings do some highlights, and I will send out again the link to the American Bike League's resource guide around Bike Month, and then a link for the Streets for All, some of their state initiatives. I did list in the agenda biking in LA with Ted Rogers and Streets Are for Everyone with Damon Cavett, but maybe next time we can actually have representatives to speak and maybe take first 10 minutes of our meeting to have a guest speaker about a sister organization doing work that we find important in making LA a safer place. But would love to see if there's a partner who would want to do that with me so that it's not a Rob Cadota show. How about Karen or Ade? Any interest in partnering with me?
On highlighting,
Yep, connecting with an organization and the executive director or a volunteer from that org to do a little 5 to 10 minute presentation.
Okay, from which org? I was a little distracted.
That's okay. We would talk about it. I just want a
Okay.
partner to help me kind of do that so that it's not me talking the whole time. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be great. Karen, can I pull you in as well between the two of you?
sure, to help you identify who we want to bring in and
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah, if there's somebody that you know or an organization that you discover that you're like, whoa, Streets
Okay.
blog, they're doing great stuff. Let's hear from,
well, I just thought about this. We were talking about resources and you're talking about orgs. So before the pandemic, Kaiser would sponsor community rides that I would do.
Oh,
oh, really?
Yeah.
wow.
And they were I was in talks with them to actually sponsor a after school program at one of the local schools.
Mm.
So I don't know if that person is still there. Since COVID, we haven't spoken and they really shied away from doing anything public during COVID. But that would be a good organization to go back to it and see if they would even come in and support this organization in some fashion.
Yeah,
That would be awesome.
that would, they've had teams participate in like a LA triathlon and LA marathon. And they've had really cool shirts that said Thrive, right? Which is part of their motto. But just this idea of, HMO and health and
exactly.
That would be a cool partnership. Just to, and I think in the LA Times they're talking about level of alcohol use is ridiculous from COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we get back to be a little bit more healthy, right?
Right.
That good thinking. That'd be fun. So it's those kinds of things, Karen and Ade, just to kind of keep your eyes and ears open for these kinds of little brainstorm sparkles and ideas that can really take seed and germinate. Good, great. It's working already. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Anything else? It's 9 o'clock. Is it really?
Wow.
No,
2
8 o'clock.
hours?
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
Whoa, yeah.
A 1 hour meeting's just fine.
That's enough. Yeah.
once around the room, Philip, anything else that we didn't get to that you feel like, or things that you want to reiterate? How about Curtis? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Philip.
Yeah, I'm just listening.
Okay. Yeah. Curtis, anything in terms of as we wrap up?
No, I'm just excited about having meetings occasionally during the day to see if we can rope some more people in and
Yep.
develop more resources. I think it's a great idea.
I like the retreat idea too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Ade?
So who's gonna do the, who's gonna plan the retreat? Would that be Eli or would it be you, Rob? Or-
Well, Eli has to support the idea.
Yeah, so
Right,
we,
so-
so we,
Was
We
this a
should-
retreat for the whole BAC or just for this subcommittee?
No, the whole BAC.
whole BAC.
Oh, okay, I talked to
Yeah.
Eli about that too, and the day we talked to the mayor's office and was filling him in on how we had one a few years ago, and now we've had so many new people, and it would be really helpful.
Yeah,
So yeah, he's open to the idea.
great. Ade, anything else?
No, just looking forward to it.
Okay, thanks for joining us. Karen, anything from your end that?
Just I'll jump on that the retreat idea. I really think the BAC could benefit from a fresh perspective. You know, we have fresh leadership, we have some new people. I think that it would be great to help us all clarify what we do and why, and what our role is, what niche do we feel that other organizations don't, and really start making action plans for.
Yeah. And Curtis might be able to finally pick which subcommittee he wants to participate on, or officially be a part of all of them.
It's so much pressure, Rob. So much pressure. Anybody got a Xanax?
Oh,
But I think the idea of, hey, what are the priorities of the committees? How are they different? What are their values and focuses? All that stuff is really important for us all to have a good sense of. Great, thank you.
I got
Jennifer?
this, I just got this text from a friend of mine, and Portatino, South Pasadena, wait a minute, Portantino, he's the South Pasadena senator.
Uh-huh.
Let me see, sorry, can't read this thing, it won't blow up, sorry. But anyway, he was at the 626 event on Sunday. Yeah, so, and he's got a beautiful, looks like a, I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yeah,
Cool.
cool. Glenn always likes to end the meeting or it's been his custom to acknowledge those who may have died or been seriously injured. I was on Biking in LA and Streets blog in preparation for this meeting, and besides Andrew Jamart, who was killed and that was honored at the Finish the Ride, there is a cyclist killed in Tahunga Canyon, collision with a car. That's county of LA, April 30th. Stephen Wright, age 69, was killed riding his bike in Simi Valley by a turning right truck, a flatbed truck that ran him over. And John Hermoso, age 39, nicknamed Panda, was killed in Canyon Country, Santa Clarita, and he was a popular Rafa ride leader. And that's just in the last couple of weeks. In Palms, I know there was a pedestrian that was killed just down the street from where I live, and some other horrific car accidents. Karen?
There was a really loud motorcycle going by, so I don't know if you mentioned him, but there was somebody, and I don't know the name, killed on Olympic Boulevard, really close to where I live, at 3 a.m. A pastry chef on his way to work with his brother. And I'm actually thinking I might send a link to the news article to Biking in LA, because I don't think it's getting the attention.
Was he on a bike as well?
Yeah, two brothers were riding their bikes to work on Olympic Boulevard. They were just almost there, and a driver who was thought to be maybe fleeing some kind of attempted theft or something like that just blasted right into them, and one brother was seriously injured and the other one was killed.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine that?
Terrible.
And that's what gets me thinking about people who, you know, bike to work, and the place they
Yeah.
work is Paris Baguette on Olympic Boulevard. So, you know, this idea that, oh, well, you just take the stress-free streets. Well, you know, at some point you have to get on the street where your job is. And
Yeah,
it's-
yeah. And that's a great, again, I think you did a nice job of making the point. How do we serve those people? How do we represent those people who, you know, the bike is a vital transportation tool. And, you know, we shouldn't forget our fellow pedestrians and transit riders as well. I did get a chance to go to the PAC, the Pedestrian Advisory Committee. And if you've never done that, I'd encourage you to see if you can attend their next one. I found it very interesting, just in terms of a sister organization, and there may be some things that we can partner with, but also just be aware of. And for me, it demonstrated their relationship with LADOT really clearly, something that we need to further develop. All right, seeing
I
no
just
other.
put a link in the chat to the LA Times article about
Oh, great.
that accident, that crash.
Just wanted to finish what I said about Senator Portantino.
Oh,
I didn't read the bottom part.
uh-huh.
He lost 160 pounds.
Mm.
He used to be a couch potato, and now he rides his bike every day. So I want to leave it on a good note. Like, you know, we got our senators out there doing
That's
stuff,
right. That's right.
you know?
Great. All right. Well, thank you all. I appreciate, and Jennifer, thanks for being a good partner and making a few phone calls.
Yeah,
And,
thanks for showing. And
we've made
I
some,
didn't
we've got some great ideas. I'm looking forward to sharing them with the full board and others.
Good.
Thank you all.
Okay,
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
bye. Bye. Thanks, Ade.
Thank you. Thanks for the call.
Yeah.